going to make a short presentation, presenting firstly the project in which we are working. It's similar to thread 2 project, is the Eumodnext project, a project that we lead in our University of Burgos, with a team of different researchers all over Europe. We have a web page. It's very easy because you can put our name, Eumodnext, and in Google appears firstly our web page. And inside of them, we have the project, a very short explanation of the project that mainly has three objectives, 3 targets. The first one is a comparison among the different anti-fraud measures adopted by each European country in order to develop and to obtain the next generation European funds. We have elaborated a handbook with more than 300 pages explaining country by country the different legal context of each country and the measures adopted to get these funds. As you know, all of the European countries have established so-called resilience plans to facilitate the obtain of next generation funds in order to give these funds for the local, regional, private, and other kind of institutions in each European country. What we have seen in this handbook, that is very large and could be open and published in a few months, probably after the summertime, we have observed important differences country by country. For us, and it is one of the recommendations we propose to the European Union, is the need to try to adopt a kind of harmonization among countries, because the differences are too much big in each country. And that's a problem, because at the end, the funds come from the European Union, and the way to evaluate the use of these funds depends on its particularities of each country. This is one of the most important basic conclusions of our analysis. The second target, is the web page we have created that Ivan has just presented before the coffee break, in which Ivan is one of the members of our team, the Eumodnext project, has elaborated a dynamic web page using neural networks, as Ivan has explained better than me, definitely, to try to evaluate in all the public procurement all over Europe, the possible red flags, the possible warnings in which can exist or can have the problematic to possible fraud and corruption, in order to establish some warnings for controlling better, for detecting and try to prevent possible risks of fraud. Now, Ivan is working on the new web page, and again, Ivan has explained 15 minutes before, with a new web page in which Ivan introduces the possible controversies that can exist into the institutions, into the companies all over Europe. When we talk about controversies, we talk about not only of possible risks of fraud or corruptions that can exist, but also in the scandals and the scandals that can produce this type of corruptions. Particularly for this second target, into the web page, you can see into the final conference, we have especially two special issues with that is a call of papers, and it's open and open for you, for all our researchers all over Europe, with the journal Business Ethics, Environmental and Responsibility, and this call of paper is open into the journal, in the peer journal, Business Ethics, Environmental Responsibility, and it's a call of papers open to all researchers till the end of August. The deadline is the end of August, with a list of topics focus, of course, on this kind of research we are trying to analyze. Okay, you can have a look in depth, searching into our webpage or directly into the journal of the of Business Ethics and Environmental and Responsibility journal. And the other one is the journal Business Research Quarterly. It's again a high impact journal in which we have again a new special issue, but in this case it's focused on greenwashing, on financial controversies in organizations. In this case, we analyze, as just mentioned before, not only the corruption, but also the scandal that can exist, analyzing mainly the cases of greenwashing, because there are more and more fraud and corruptions and scandals come from an environmental point of view. Again, we have a call of papers open. In this case, it's open till January 2024, and this is the list of topics open to January 2025. Okay, to the first month of next year. Okay, and you have the list of topics, and again, you can have a look if you are interested. Okay, here. The web page includes the third target of our European project, and were the results obtained for the members of the team in our final conference that took place in Burgos at the beginning of May, 9th and 10th of May. And we had the opportunity of receiving the works of several research all over Europe. One of them are the team members that we have here from Spain, from France, from Germany, from Ireland, from Italy, from Lithuania, from Poland, from Portugal. And also we had the opportunity to know to Maria Felice, that was with us in these 2 fantastic days in Burgos, sharing the research and sharing our investigations in this important topic. My short presentation is one of these research, particularly the research done by the members of the University of Burgos, in which we try to study the factors that affect to the real obtain of next generation funds country by country all over Europe. As we know, the Next Generation Funds is a new financial aid for the European Union, okay, to try to to improve the digitalization, to try to improve the sustainability of all of the institutions all over Europe. But in fact, it's again funds to try to get the equality all over citizens all over Europe, because then the reasons, the factors to get this money, to get this budget, are three factors very well known all over for us. The first one is depend on the level of GDP. The second one is depend on the level of unemployment rate, and the third one is depend on total population. Are the three critical factors. Particularly in Italy, as you know, the country which have got the maximum level of funds is around 180,000 million euros. In the case of Spain, is the second or the third one, have allocated 140,000 million euros. But we analyze not this problem, because the problem is, okay, that's the money we have, but searching news, in the case of Spain, we observe that 3 years later, the total amount that Spain has got really for the Next Generation Funds is less than 40,000 million euros. Italy has got the 100%, 180,000 million euros. So what is the reason? Why? What's the problem? What's the problem in Spain? And not only in Spain, because other countries has the same problem, okay? No more than 25%, 30%, 40% of the total amount has really obtained for the country and for the development of the country, and as you know, the consequences, the economic consequences of this different gap, okay? That in Italy has got the 100%. So we have to study the factors, the different, why the differences, which are the problems. To analyze this, we go again to study the anti-fraud measures adopted by each country, and we focus on the situation of the rule of law on each country. And as a moderator factor, we study the level of corruption index, using the corruption perception index in each country. We have this information for 2022, and we have the sample of European countries. It's not a big sample, as you know, we don't have more than, it's lower than 50 data, so we cannot make a variation model to try to analyze the effect, cause, consequences. So we need to apply a new methodology, the FUSI-set qualitative comparative analysis, that allows to work with small samples to analyze these reasons. In this methodology, the possibility is not to obtain as an aggregation model coefficient of the relation between one variable, independent variables, and other dependent variables. In this case, it's possible to combine different values of its variable to explain the dependent variable, to explain the result of the, in this case, explain the result of the low value of next generation's funds obtained for the European countries. So this methodology allows to combine different weights of different factors. So it's not only a solution for small samples, but also for us, it's a good solution to combine the original factors. Remember, the GDP of the country, the unemployment rate of each country, and the total population. That's the original factors for the establishment of next generation funds. And we introduce our new factors that can explain this gap, which are the specific anti-fraud measures adopted by each country. The anti-fraud measures comes from the resilience plans that I explained before. In this analysis we made for the comparison of the different ways, measures, legal plans in each country to materialize, to apply the next generation funds. The second one is the rule of law. Which is the rule of law of each country? Which is the status of the law in each country? There is really a correct separation between judge and parliament. It's a very good context of good enforcement of law. This kind of reasons that are very well known and very well easy to use, because it's are data easy to obtain for each country all over, not only all over Europe, all over the world. And we mix both with the corruption perception index, which is the perception of corruption in each country, which is the status of fraud, the status of corruption general in all over the country. With this combination of these 6 factors, we obtain these results, in which when we have these different combinations to get the 100%, the maximum total amount of next generation funds. For example, if the unemployment is very low and the population is high and the gross domestic is very low, this type of countries needs more anti-fraud measures. Okay, as you can see in this slide, we distinguish general and specific anti-fraud measures, because the specific anti-fraud measures are the measures specifically for getting the next generation funds, and the general and anti-fraud measures for get not only these funds and also but also other European funds. So these are the 3 combinations in which we obtain. So why is important these results? Because it's a good outcome for each government to know what it is necessary to apply or not anti-fraud measures. So depending on, firstly, the level of unemployment, gross domestic product, and population, and secondly, depend on how is the level of corruption perception index and the rule of law. The countries with the big differences are countries where, and it's the third result in this one time, the level of fraud and corruption is higher and the rule of law is weaker. In this kind of countries, they need to establish more anti-fraud measures because these anti-fraud measures are required to cover the weaker points of the rule of law and the level of corruption index. We have understand the case of Germany, where the anti-fraud measures adopted for the next generation funds is zero. They decide not adopting new anti-fraud measures. And the case of Spain, with the level of anti-fraud measures is the top of all over Europe. Even for our case, we consider too much excessivity because it's quite complicated to fulfill this level of anti-fraud measures. Which are the differences between the two extremes, the level of rule of law and the corruption perception index? In the case of Spain, the rule of law is one of the weaker all over Europe. Particularly, there are a big problem between the separation of the three powers, as Montesquieu mentioned in Europe, the separation of judges and parliament, the separation of the High Court and Supreme Court that can be elected by judges and not by the parliament, which is the same case of Hungary and Poland. And we are in this league, we are in the lower positions. Now, in my country, now it's 2 days ago, take the decision, the two most important parties with a new law to separate this, the power of parliament and the power of judges, because it's a requirement of the European Union, of Brussels, to get more next generation funds. Probably in Italy you can have another kind of problems, but we can say that only in 1 year Italy has got a total 100% of the European Next Generation funds. So, as you can see, these factors are quite relevant for the real fact to get these funds that are so relevant and important for the development of our economies all over Europe. That's all, more or less, my guidelines of results that I want to present for you. So thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for participating with you, Maria Felicia, and all colleagues in this workshop. And I open for your questions now. Thank you.